Starter Unit. Vocabulary. Exercise 2.
Made, gave, have,
1,
saw, were, taught,
2,
do, go, spoke,
3,
had, made, ate,
4,
left, were, went,
5,
rode, bought, taught,
6,
heard, were, hear.
Unit 1. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
Excuse me, could you tell me about the fashions when you were young?
Sure. When I was a teenager, there used to be a lot of fashions, probably more than today. It was the 1980s, and I used to like the punk style. It was probably because of my brother and his friends. They were 4 years older than me, and they were all punks. They used to wear very tight trousers, long boots, old t-shirts and short jackets. A lot of them had colourful hair, you know, red and orange and green. My parents used to hate it, so of course I thought it was fantastic. When I was about 15, I started listening to different music, and my style changed completely. Teenage fashions change so fast. I used to like that.
Thank you. And how about you?
Well, I wasn't into fashion in my early teens. My clothes were really plain. I can't even remember what styles I used to wear. All that changed around 1992 when I started listening to hip-hop music. Suddenly, everybody was wearing big, baggy trousers and sports shirts and expensive trainers. And I did too. It was also cool for girls and boys to have long, untidy hair. I think I used to brush mine about once a month. I saw my daughter with her friends recently, and I couldn't believe it. They're into those same 90s styles. As a parent, I laugh at the fashions now, but then they were an important part of my identity.
Unit 1. Reading. Exercise 1.
Communication through time. Why is language so important? Well, it's part of what makes us human. We are the only species on Earth that can share our thoughts and ideas through language. And our history shows how we are always looking for new ways to communicate. Early human language was a spoken form of communication. Around 40,000 years ago, there were cave paintings. And then much later, around 5,500 years ago, people started creating picture writing systems, such as Egyptian hieroglyphs. The alphabets we use today developed after this, over thousands of years. Until the 15th century, people copied books by hand. Obviously, this was a very slow process. With the invention of the printing press, all of this changed. In 1440, it became possible to copy books easily and quickly, and many more people learned to read. Sending personal messages was still slow for a few hundred years. It used to take weeks for letters to arrive. In the 1830s, electric telegraph services started for short messages. By the early 20th century, the telephone made it possible to communicate spoken words over long distances. Email, the internet, and mobile phones became popular in the 1990s. Today, we communicate with people all over the world using gadgets. We use text messages, video calls, and chat and picture apps like WhatsApp and Instagram. In an age of easy, instant messaging, it's hard to imagine how difficult communication used to be.
Unit 2. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercise 4.
I'm here today with travel blogger Anna Blake. So, Anna, you've been to a lot of wonderful places around the world, but tell us about your most memorable experience.
Probably the most amazing thing I've ever seen was the grey whales in Dana Point, California. Around 20,000 of them travel from Alaska to Mexico every year and then back again. That's almost 10,000 kilometres. It is one of the most amazing wildlife migrations, and it's not difficult for humans to see. If you are lucky, you can see orcas and even hear the songs of the giant blue whales. It is fascinating. I joined a guided whale watching cruise. I think it's easier to find them if you travel with experts. On the way there, some people got seasick and they looked miserable. But then we saw something moving in the distance and we saw a grey whale. Then suddenly there were 4 or 5 of them swimming beside the boat. You could almost touch them. It was the most amazing sight and everyone was smiling.
That sounds wonderful. So, when's the best time to go?
Well, the whales are only there for a few months every year, so make sure you go from December to April. Imagine how awful it is to travel there and find out that you've missed them. You can read more about it on my blog, but unfortunately, there aren't many photos. I was furious with myself at first because I hadn't taken any. It all happened so fast, I didn't have time. But then I thought I don't really need them. I'll never forget the sight and the sounds of the grey whales.
Unit 2. Reading. Exercise 1.
A different kind of vision. Here's a question for you. What have the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, actor Eddie Redmayne, and Britain's Prince William all got in common? Any guesses? Well, the answer is that they have never seen the world as most people do, because they're colourblind. In fact, colourblindness isn't very unusual. Around 8% of men and 0.5% of women have it. Most of them are born with the condition, and often don't find out for years that their sight is different. Colour blindness isn't really a good description of the condition. It is extremely rare to see only in black and white. The majority of people who are colourblind can see colours, but they can't distinguish between some of them. For most of them, reds, oranges and greens have always looked a similar yellow-brown colour. Most colourblind people report that it causes them some problems. How do you know if the meat you've cooked is ready to eat? Or if you've spent too long in the sun? Imagine wearing 2 different coloured socks all day, or driving through a red light because you think it's green. At school, students can find it difficult to identify countries on a map or information in a chart. They sometimes produce drawings and paintings with unusual colours. Today, some teachers have learned about the problems and give colourblind students support. Even so, most colourblind people have learned how to manage their view of the world on their own.
Unit 3. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
What do you think of when you hear the words adventure travel? If you're like me, you probably expect young guys jumping out of planes or climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Not anymore. So today, I'm at the Adventures Abroad Fair in Manchester, and I've been talking to travel expert Sylvia Williams. So, Sylvia, what can you tell us about current trends in adventure travel?
Well, I think the biggest change is who is travelling. 10 years ago, it was mainly men in their early 20s. But now, around 55% of our customers are actually women. And the average age is 47.
Wow, that's a surprise. And are people travelling with their friends, in couples, or in larger family groups?
That's changing too. In the last few years, we've noticed more groups of parents, children and grandparents together. And there are more women travelling alone too.
And how have these changes affected the holidays you offer?
Maybe the biggest difference is that we've started organising trips with a larger variety of activities. I mean, if you're travelling with Grandad, he probably won't want to ski down mountains or surf on 5-metre-high waves, will he?
No, I suppose not.
So now you can go on an adventure cruise, for example. When the ship stops, there are challenging activities such as horse riding, hiking and rock climbing for Mum, Dad and the children. But if the grandparents just want to go shopping or relax on the boat, they can do that too.
Yes, that makes sense. So, which destinations are hot this year?
Well, that's changed too. You see, the most popular destination...
Unit 3. Reading. Exercise 1. Only for the brave.
Posted by Paul, the 31st of August, 2010.
I've just come back from one of the most terrifying experiences of my life, the Caminito del Rey. You wouldn't believe how scary it is, but I've walked up it and felt very afraid. The Caminito del Rey is near Malaga in Spain. The name means the King's Little Path, although for years people have been calling it the most dangerous path in the world. Now I've seen it, I understand why. The Caminito is a 1-metre wide path 100 metres up a cliff above the beautiful Guadalhorce River and Oyo Valley. It's more than 100 years old. Workers used to use it to get from the Chorro Falls to the Guaidanejo Falls. Over the years, holes have formed along the path, and some parts of it are completely missing. You obviously need to be extremely careful there. I recommend this path to people who love epic challenges. The views are amazing. but there have been some serious accidents here, so it's definitely not for people who haven't climbed rocks before.
Update. The 6th of September, 2015.
I've been visiting Spain this week, and I returned to the Caminito yesterday. Guess what? They've replaced the old path. The new path is made of wood and very safe. I hear they've been working on it for 4 years and have spent nearly 10 million euros. This has attracted more visitors to the cliff, but for me, the real thrill of the dangerous journey has gone.
Unit 4. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
I'm in Birmingham today at this year's Gadget Show to find out about some of the best new products on offer. We've seen a lot of crazy gadgets already, from smart dog collars that check how much exercise your dog does, to paper aeroplanes that you control with your smartphone. But let's hear about some of your favourite gadgets. What do you have there, Jamal?
This is the Eco Media Player. It's multifunctional, so you can listen to music, watch films and more. And it fits in your pocket. But what makes it special is that it's ecological. You don't need batteries because it has wind-up technology.
Ooh, so you power it with your finger?
Yes, and you don't need to worry about running out of power.
That's great. How about you, Nadine?
I found a really useful gift today. It's the automatic parked car finder. You leave it in your car and it connects to your smartphone. Then later, you can use a free app to see where you parked your car on a map.
Are you going to buy it?
Yes, it's perfect for my dad. He can never find his car in a car park.
What do you have there, Zane?
It's the log bar ring. It's exciting, but quite expensive. You wear this digital ring on your finger, and then you point to electric objects at home to turn them on and off, like the TV or lights.
Wow, very high tech. It makes you look like a superhero too.
Not sure about that, but it's great for lazy people like me. You don't need to move from the sofa.
Unit 4. Reading. Exercise 1.
The kitchen of the future. These days, a lot of people enjoy trying out new recipes. Our kitchens are full of gadgets that make cooking quicker, easier, and better for the environment. Experts predict this trend will continue. So, what changes will we see in tomorrow's kitchen? Our future ovens will be a lot like touchscreen computers. They may start to tell us which foods our bodies have too much or too little of, and prepare our meals automatically. Our fridges will check how fresh our food is, throw it away when it gets old, and send a shopping list to our smartphones before we run out of our favourites. Washing up will become a thing of the past, with self-cleaning tables, plates, knives and forks. Perhaps the biggest changes will be in how we share our food. As we develop virtual reality, we won't need to be in the same place to cook or eat together. It'll be possible to share recipes or learn how to follow them from a chef hologram. When the meal is ready, You can eat it next to holographic dinner guests, even if they are on the other side of the world. And can we expect our food to change too? Chefs suggest we'll grow enough food at home for most meals. And when that isn't enough, we'll use 3D printers to reproduce the more unusual items. All in all, we can expect technology to shape both how we eat and what we eat in the near future.
Unit 5. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercise 3.
Here at Youth Today, we're making a time capsule, and we're asking you what to put inside it. We're going to bury it under the TV studio, and no one will open it for 100 years. It's going to contain objects that will tell young people in the future about today's lifestyles. We've got a smartphone, a games console, films, and TV programs in there. Now, we'd like to hear your predictions about life in 100 years for our competition. Phone in and tell us your ideas. And tell us which object you want to put in the time capsule. If you win, your object will go into our capsule.
Unit 5. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 4 and 6. 1. David.
I'm a bit worried about the future. I don't think we'll be leaving our houses much. For example, I think we'll be working and studying from home, using the internet. I worry that we won't see other people anymore. What would I put into a time capsule? A laptop maybe, but not mine.
2. Lena.
I don't think people will want to tie themselves down in the future by settling down and having a family when they're still young. We'll be spending more time enjoying ourselves, and robots will be doing the work we do today. It'll be great. If I win this competition, I'll put my favourite books into the time capsule. People will always want to take time out with a book.
3. Claire.
Technology will change a lot in the future, I'm sure. But I can't see people being different. When I imagine myself in 30 years, I still see myself working hard, going out, playing sports. I think all those things are important. I'd put information about all our leisure and sporting activities into the time capsule, so people in 100 years can take up old sports that we have now.
Unit 5. Reading. Exercise 1.
Life on Mars? Imagine you get the chance to travel into space. Will you go? Some scientists think this might be possible for many of us in a decade or two. If they're right, our children and grandchildren might one day live on other planets. In fact, the first short tourist trips into space have already happened. However, you can't go unless you're incredibly rich. The tickets cost around $30 million. Businessman Richard Branson wants to change this. His company, Virgin Galactic, promises that space trips will become much cheaper in the near future. The International Mars One project is even more ambitious. It plans to send 100 men and women to colonize the Red Planet. Sound exciting to you? Well, how will you feel if you can't leave? The project's director, Bas Lansdorp, says all of the tickets will be one way. Most scientists feel the project won't be possible for a long time, but Lansdorp is convinced the first trip isn't far away, and he has invited people to apply to be passengers.
By Nina Peters. What do you think about a future in space? Comment below. Izzy, just now.
Unless we change our lifestyles, we'll destroy the Earth, and we'll need to move into space.
Peter, 15 minutes ago.
A colony on Mars? Get real. We need to spend our money on the problems we've got here on Earth.
Maggie, 34 minutes ago.
What a brilliant adventure! If I get the chance, I'll go for sure. How can I apply?
Unit 6. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
When I found out that there are full-time jobs in social media, I immediately knew that's where I wanted to make my career. So I made a lot of effort to get involved in media projects at university. You know, writing articles for the university website, doing shows on our student radio station, that sort of thing. But it was at least a year before I made any progress with finding a career, and that was when I did 2 months of summer work as an intern at a tech website. So, my first piece of advice is that you should try to do work experience or find an internship, even if it's hard work and unpaid. Because without real work experience, it's hard to know what the job is about or what you're good at. I thought I loved blogging and writing articles, you know, working on my own. But in fact, I found I enjoyed interviewing people and working in a team far more, so that was a surprise. The other really good thing about those 8 weeks was all of the people I met and worked with. I've kept in contact with some of them, and it's been really useful. You should always keep in contact with people that you meet, because you never know when one of them could help you. And the final piece of advice I'd give is something I always do. It's to write a new CV for every job you apply for. Don't just send out the same thing to everyone. Do your homework. Find out about the position and make sure you edit your CV to fit the exact thing they need. It's not so easy to get the job you want these days, but when you do, you'll be pleased that you made the effort. Good luck!
Unit 6. Reading. Exercise 1.
A school in Makoko. Where can you build a school when the land isn't safe? On the water, of course. Local architect Kunle Adeyemi has designed a school that floats on water for the Makoko community in Nigeria, West Africa. Makoko is a poor neighbourhood in Nigeria's largest city, Lagos. It is next to the ocean, and its streets are actually canals, so everyone travels by boat. Unfortunately, the water levels are always changing, and waves often destroy buildings. Makoko's old primary school was regularly damaged in bad weather, so students couldn't go to lessons there safely. Well, not anymore. Adeyemi's creative triangle-shaped design makes the new school safe in extreme weather conditions. This is because the rain doesn't stay on top of the building and cause damage. Its large base also stops it from falling over in strong winds. The design is also cheap and ecological. Local people built it using wood and other materials from the area. This helped to reduce waste. There are even recycled plastic barrels under the school, which keep it above water. Solar panels on the outside provide electricity to save energy. The building has 3 levels. Level 1 is a play area for school breaks, and levels 2 and 3 are for lessons. Now Makoko's children will be able to take classes safely. Like children everywhere, they will have the chance to get qualifications and have a better future.
Unit 7. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercise 2.
So tell me about Grandad. How did you first meet?
Well, one morning on my way to work, I dropped my purse. He saw it and returned it to me, so I immediately knew he was an honest man.
And he became a policeman after you got married, didn't he? You need to be brave to do a job like that.
Yes, he often caught criminals. He was very heroic. He was also fair because he treated everyone equally.
And what was he like at home?
He was always giving me presents. He was a very generous and thoughtful man. He wasn't very patient, though. He hated waiting for things.
Unit 7. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
This week on Young World, we're taking a look at heroes. It can be hard to find news stories about brave and kind people. So where should we look? Today, I'm with social historian Dr. Maggie Hook. So, do we have enough positive role models and heroes in the world today?
Well, there are certainly lots of positive role models, but we don't always hear about them. I think if we saw more positive stories in the news, we'd all feel better about the world we live in.
And what can we do to change that?
One important way is to share stories of ordinary people who do special things. People often imagine you have to be rich or famous for people to admire you, and that's not true at all.
So, how can we discover stories about ordinary heroes?
There's a website, myhero.com, where you can make a film, draw a picture, or write an essay about someone you admire. In fact, the project has been going for 20 years, so there are hundreds of stories already.
Wow! So, what personal qualities do people admire?
All sorts, really. There are famous people on there, like Malala Yousafzai, the brave teenager who's fighting for education for girls.
Oh, yes. I've heard of her, of course.
But there are also lots of personal accounts. For example, a student who wouldn't pass his exams without the help of a patient and kind teacher who's giving him after-school lessons. In addition to the website, they have a film festival every year and awards for heroism too.
Wow, it all sounds really positive. And can you tell me about the film?
Unit 7. Reading. Exercise 1.
Can we change the world with kindness? Perhaps. Posted by Duncan Cook on the 14th of April. What have you done today that could make the world a better place? If someone asked me this, I would honestly have to say nothing. Perhaps, like most of us, you would answer the same. But not Luke Cameron from Gloucestershire in England, who decided to improve the world around him one kind action at a time. In a year-long project, Luke did one generous, thoughtful thing a day, 365 good deeds in all. He made it easier by starting small on the 1st of January, when he wished the shop assistant who served him a Happy New Year. He moved on to buying food for homeless people and baking cakes for friends. He also supported his elderly neighbours by taking out their rubbish. To celebrate the last day of the year, he gave away £365 in £5 notes to strangers in his local town centre. Luke created a website, thegooddeeddiary.com, to keep a record of all the things he did. During the year, he spent over £3,000 on other people, sometimes buying gifts or meals, sometimes donating money or clothes to charity. He also gave up his time to help people and become their friend. Luke's kindness made him famous, and by the end of the year, his story was in the Independent newspaper. Now, he's got a fantastic new job advising charities about how to raise money and help other people. Luke hoped that his story might encourage people to be kinder. What do you think?
Unit 8. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 3 and 4. Les.
For me, it has to be The Outsiders. I think I was 15 when my older brother first gave it to me. It's a real coming-of-age novel. I remember reading it so many times that in the end, some of the pages fell out. I know it was written by S.E. Hinton, but I only found out years later that she wrote the whole thing when she was still in high school, which is quite amazing. I think they adapted it for cinema later, but I never saw the film.
Angela.
That's easy. I really loved Stand By Me. It came out in 1986 when I was just 13, and I went to the cinema with my cousin to watch it. The stars of the film were only teenagers themselves when it was made. The sad thing is that one of them, River Phoenix, died just 7 years later. The others must be in their 40s now, like me.
Sean.
I thought I wouldn't like it. I mean, the original Romeo and Juliet was written by Shakespeare, so I thought it would be this big historical production. But the film adaptation wasn't like that at all. Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes were the stars, and the direction and costumes were really good. I think it came out in 1996, so I guess I was 16 when I saw it.
Caroline.
It has to be The Lord of the Rings. I was 14 the first time I read the first book in the series, and it's always been my favourite since. I saw the whole story in my head when I read it, so there was no need for me to go to the cinema when Peter Jackson directed the films.
Unit 8. Reading. Exercise 1.
The book or the film? The film was okay, but I enjoyed the book more. How often do you hear people say this as they're leaving the cinema? I have to admit, I've said it many times. Over the years, I've tried to get excited about film adaptations of novels, and there have been lots of famous ones to choose from. The Hunger Games, The Fault in Our Stars, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, as well as the massive hits Twilight and Harry Potter. Often the films are fantastic. A huge amount of money is spent on the special effects. They're nearly as amazing as the ones I imagine in my head for free when I read the book. For me, this is the big difference between reading and watching a story. In a film, I'm shown someone else's idea of how the characters and the places look. When I read, on the other hand, I share the hero's thoughts and see the world the author describes. Reading is a creative activity, and there's only one thing that can prevent me from using my imagination: watching the film first. So I always download the book before watching the film. And while I might see the film weeks after my friends, I know I'll see a fascinating version of the story in my own imagination first.
Cumulative review. Starter unit to Unit 2. Exercises 4 and 5.
I'm here today with Daniel Nold, a chef who specialises in making desserts. Daniel also teaches cookery courses for teenagers and adults. He's got his own restaurant in London, and right now he's writing a book about desserts. Daniel, tell us more about your book.
Actually, I haven't started writing it yet. It's my first book, and I'd like it to be all about taste.
Taste?
Yes, generally, people eat quickly and forget to enjoy their food. Sometimes they don't even notice how it tastes. They might say, it's great, or it's disgusting, without understanding the ingredients and what makes them special.
I've heard that you organise dessert tasting sessions in your restaurant. What are these?
We prepare different desserts: cake, cookies, ice cream, everything. People come and try them all. They guess the flavours with our help, and we show them all the ingredients and products we use to prepare the desserts. We talk lots about the different smells and tastes.
Is this just a food fad?
I hope not. I think people want to learn to be better cooks, and discovering flavour really helps with that.
What's the price of a tasting session in your restaurant?
They're free, but people need to sign up early. We usually advertise each session on our social media sites a week before they start, and often they're full within a day.
Cumulative review. Starter unit to Unit 4. Exercises 4 and 5.
Dad, have you seen the link to the website I sent you this morning?
I haven't had time to check my emails yet. What was it?
I was looking for perfect places for a hiking trip this summer, and I found something I like a lot.
Where?
In Iceland. The trail is called Laugavegurin, and it's amazing. It goes across the mountains, rivers and valleys. You go past the active volcanoes and the falls. I'd love to see it. There's no other trail with as many different landscapes as this one in Europe.
It sounds great. How long is it?
About 55 kilometres. We can do it in a week, can't we?
I guess we can. Is there any special equipment we will need?
I haven't checked that yet, but I've read about a family who hiked there last year. They said they ran out of water and they couldn't get it anywhere. They carried on hiking, but they had to make water from snow. They used a purifying water bottle. Check this out. It's got great reviews. We should buy this bottle and a few more things before we set off, shouldn't we?
I'm not sure what we can afford. We haven't saved too much money. We definitely need new waterproof jackets and, well, I think
Cumulative review. Starter unit to Unit 6. Exercises 4 and 5.
Your cousin Patrick is coming from Canada to visit us in the summer.
Cool. For how long?
I'm not sure yet, but probably 8 weeks.
8 weeks? But the summer holiday only lasts for 6.
Not for him. The summer holiday is longer in Canada.
Really? How long is it?
About 9 weeks.
That's not fair. Why don't we have 9 weeks here too? I want to go to school in Canada.
Every country has its own rules. Here in Britain, you get a week of holiday in the middle of each term and an extra week at the end of every term. That adds up to a lot. In Canada, they haven't got so many weeks off during the school year.
I still prefer the Canadian system.
Why?
You can enjoy yourself more with a long holiday. You can travel and spend time abroad with your family.
Patrick's mum says he doesn't like it. He misses his friends. Besides, they've got a lot of homework to do in the summer.
Why?
So that they don't forget what they've learnt.
Ah, I'll stay here then.
Cumulative review. Starter unit to Unit 8. Exercises 4 and 5.
How can I help you?
I'm looking for something to read. Our English teacher has asked us to go to the library, choose something that we like, and read it.
That shouldn't be difficult. What kind of books do you like?
I don't really know. I only read books for school. They're usually classic stories, and I find them a bit boring. I prefer to watch films.
I see. What films do you like the most?
I like lots of different films, but if I had to pick one genre, I'd choose adventure films. Or science fiction. I like them too. Sometimes I watch all the films that were made by the same director. Or when I like one actor, I watch all the films they've played in. Generally, I love stories about characters that saved the world in the most extraordinary ways.
Have you ever read any graphic novels? Many of them are adapted for films. You must know Superman, The Avengers, and X-Men.
They're my favourite films.
Why don't you go to shelf number 12? We've got a huge selection of graphic novels there. I'm sure you'll find something interesting.
Thank you very much.